It started with the river broke its rhythm. Birds scattered. Stillness vanished. A predator had entered the wrong domain. A wildcat, lean and hungry, had been trailing a wounded monkey. The monkey, nimble and quick-witted, used the river as its last line of defense. Slipping through low reeds, the cat followed, its eyes narrowed to slits, its muscles coiled tight, ready to spring. With a final burst of speed, the monkey leaped onto the bank on the opposite shore. It scrambled up a nearby tree, its heart pounding in its chest, its gaze locked on the predator below. But the cat didn't wait. Consumed by hunger, it made a fatal miscalculation. It leaped. The water was shallower than it appeared. The cat, mid-leap, found itself committed. It thrashed, trying to gain purchase on the slippery rocks at the bottom. But the current pulled, insistent and unrelenting. What had seemed like a mere step across turned into a desperate struggle for survival. Beneath the surface, shadows stirred. A whole host of curious onlookers. Dozens of small fish hovered nearby, their scales flashing silver in the dappled sunlight that streamed down through the trees. They watched intently, unblinking, as the cat battled to free itself from the water's grasp. Rivers don't forgive arrogance. They say the jungle provides everything it needs, but what it takes away, it never gives back. Those who live by its rules know better than to test its patience, especially its waters. The cat, powerful as it was on land, was never meant for the river. Its lithe frame, so adept at navigating the treetops and stalking through undergrowth, was now a liability. It struggled, its claws out, eyes wide with panic, its sleek fur becoming waterlogged and heavy. The hunter, the predator, had become the hunted, trapped and helpless. As the minutes ticked by, the cat's strength waned. Its breaths became ragged, its movements sluggish, each struggle draining, becoming less frequent. The water, which had been murky moments before, was now clear. The cat, suspended in its watery prison, was on display. They say a dying animal reveals its vulnerabilities. But in this case, there was no need for vulnerability. The cat's helplessness was evident, its dignity lost. The fish, their curiosity piqued, drifted closer. They encircled the struggling wildcat, their numbers seeming to swell with each passing moment. To the untrained eye, the scene might have seemed pitiful, a majestic creature brought low by its own hubris. But to those who truly understood the jungle, it was a lesson in humility. It was a reminder of the river's unforgiving nature. The cat's head dipped once. Then again, its eyes squeezed shut, its ears pinned back. The sounds of the jungle faded, as if the world itself was holding its breath. The fish, their movements synchronized, continued to hover around the struggling animal, their scales shimmering, their eyes bright and unwavering. The cat let out a muffled growl, more a gurgle than a threat. The sound carried a hint of desperation, a plea for understanding. But the river was unmoved. The cat, its limbs growing weaker, offered no resistance. The fight had drained its strength. The hunt had turned deadly serious. The cat's head dipped once more, disappearing beneath the surface. A ripple spread outwards, the only indication that anything had changed. For a moment, there was nothing but the sound of the flowing water. Then, another ripple, a slight disturbance in the stillness. The fish parted, revealing a flash of orange and black, the cat's striped tail disappearing into the depths. Now, some might have said the cat fought well. Others would have claimed it deserved its fate. But the truth lay somewhere in between. The wildcat hadn't merely met its demise. It had been humbled by the very element it had underestimated. It's not strength that always wins in the jungle, nor power, nor sheer determination. Sometimes it's about knowing your place, respecting the boundaries of the wild. The cat had known neither. The fish didn't attack. They didn't offer help either. They simply watched. Maybe they saw a bit of themselves in that struggling form, the vulnerability beneath the power, the fear that mirrored their own. Or maybe they saw none of that. Perhaps they were just curious, witnessing an event that unfolded rarely in their domain. The cat's struggles gradually ceased. Its paws, once so quick and precise, now lay still. Its claws, once weapons of stealth and precision, were folded awkwardly, useless. Its eyes, once sharp, with predatory focus, were closed. The jungle held its breath. It was rare to see such a powerful predator fall, rarer still to witness it happen silently. But the wildcat wasn't merely sleeping. It was drowning. For the fish, it was a spectacle, one they hadn't anticipated, yet seemed fated to observe. The cat's breathing slowed. It became shallow, then ceased altogether. Its chest, once heaving, now still, its belly rising and falling in a silent rhythm. Then a twitch of its whiskers, a stir of its ear, the twitch of a tail. The fish watched, their movements precise, their gazes intent. The jungle waited. Slowly, ever so slowly, the cat began to rise. It pushed its head above the water, gasping, sputtering, its eyes wide with a dawning horror. The sight of the fish, so calm amidst the turmoil, was a mirror to its own disarray. But the wildcat couldn't linger on the surface. Its muscles weren't built for swimming, its weight dragging it down. With a final surge, It clambered onto the bank, collapsing onto the soft earth. The fish dispersed, slipping back into the depths, leaving the struggling wildcat to its fate. The jungle sighed, releasing the tension that had gripped it. The bird song started anew. The chattering of the monkeys filled the trees. The wildcat lay on the bank, soaked, shivering, utterly defeated. Its eyes rolled back, its paws curled, its jaws slacked. The jungle around it buzzed with life, indifferent to its plight. In the vast theater of the wild, there's no room for pity, no pause for weakness. The sun beat down, the river flowed, and the jungle kept its secrets close. The fish, their role done, resumed their silent patrol, their movements graceful, their purpose clear. As the day wore on, the wildcat stirred. It coughed, it convulsed, then it rose, shambled a few steps, and collapsed again. This time, it didn't rise. The fish, sensing the shift in the air, gathered again. They circled the cat, their presence a silent testament to the day's events. The jungle watched, its myriad eyes observing the drama that had unfolded. The cat's breath, shallow at first, grew steady, then ceased. Its chest, wet and heaving, moments before, lay still. The cat, once a formidable hunter, was succumbing to the river's silent judgment. The fish remained, their tiny bodies, a stark contrast to the dying cat. They didn't dart away, didn't flee, didn't disperse. They stayed, forming a living tableau around the fallen predator. It's not often that fish bear witness to such events. They live out their days in the water's embrace, far from the dramas that play out on the land. But today, they were part of it, observers of a humbling demise. The cat lay on the bank, a victim of its own ambition, a casualty of the river's unforgiving nature. Its eyes, once gleaming with the thrill of the chase, were now dull and unseeing. The fish didn't move, didn't make a sound. They just watched as the life ebbed out of the once fierce predator. The jungle held its breath, caught between morbid fascination and primal indifference. In the grand scheme of the wild, the death of a single creature was but a footnote. Yet this death was different. It was a spectacle, a lesson, a reminder. The wildcat, once a symbol of raw power, was being reclaimed by the elements. Its flesh would nourish the soil, its bones bleach under the sun, its fur become part of the undergrowth. The cycle of life and death played out under the indifferent gaze of the sky. The fish drifted away slowly, returning to their silent patrols, their scales shimmering in the fading light. The jungle exhaled, releasing the tension that had built up. The wind rustled through the leaves, carrying the scent of rain and decay. As darkness fell, the jungle slept. The monkey, perched high in the canopy, looked down. At the spot where the wildcat had perished, it saw not a conqueror brought low, but a reckless challenger who had dared to cross the river's face. The jungle is not a playground for egos. It's a realm of balance, where every action has a consequence, where every victory comes at a cost. That night, the river sang its ancient song, a lullaby to the dead, a hymn to the living. The fish swam in its depths, dreaming perhaps of the day when a hunter became the hunter.